Hello, good evening. My name is Sarah Kurtz, and I'm going to be talking about my Aunt Sherry. My Aunt Sherry is my great aunt, as I called her Aunt Sherry, and everyone else called her Sharon. I do not know where to even begin. There are so many great memories to talk about of her. I have so many great memories to share in the past. For starters, I grew up living next to her and my Uncle Ronnie for 21 years. We all lived on the Kurtz farm together. The Kurtz farm consisted of everybody on the same road. We all lived and shared the same acres, about 85 to about 100 acres of a farm is where everybody grew up. My dad, my aunt, my uncle, my grandparents, everybody grew up on this farm. And I'm so glad that I got to experience growing up with them as well. And almost every day, I would walk over on the path between our houses from about the ages 6 to 12. And in the evening, sometimes I would ride four-wheelers with her kids, which her kids were a lot older. They're probably about 20 years older than me. Stephen and Wendy Kurtz. After we got done from riding, we would always come in, and my aunt would always make us a nice dinner. And we would all sit down and enjoy that together. During the summer and fall, sometimes we would go camping on the weekends, and we mostly stayed at our campsite that actually my uncle and my dad and a bunch of my cousins all built a campsite in the middle of our woods so we could all stay close to home. And then sometimes we would venture out and go to state parks in Ohio. We never really went out of the state. And I always enjoyed our time we spent together. I will never forget the times we stayed in and watched scary movies on rainy and cold days. Most of the time I watched them only with her because I always felt safe when I was scared. I never really watched scary movies with my parents. She was basically the only person that I felt comfortable with and that held me tight as she could be. She just held me tight and held me close to her. And then her granddaughter Ava was born years later, and then we would always go shopping. We would take her shopping with us, so that was one of my favorite memories. Ava became like a little bestie of mine. And then on hot summer days, we'd be soaking up the sun while floating in a raft at the pool, well, in her pool. She had a pool in the backyard. We would get into numerous conversations about life and what I had planned for the future. She always said she wanted me to succeed in life, and I hope I'm doing so right now. And I thought very highly of my Aunt Sherry. She was beautiful inside and out. She loved and cared for her animals. Sometimes she would end up, there would be a stray cat that would end up at her house, and she would call me on the phone and be like, "Hey Sarah, can you come up and help me feed this cat?" So I would do that with her most of the time. And then my Aunt Sherry and my Uncle Ronnie would always help me out in countless ways. They helped me out so much through life. They taught me how to earn money by mowing their grass, and in the summer, splitting wood in the winter. In the winter, we'd be splitting wood. And sometimes I would always help her out in the gardens every now and then. She's very particular about her gardens. And I know our family is hurting very deeply right now. I miss my Aunt Sherry so much. I will forever be thankful for her in the ways she has helped me throughout life. I will cherish all the memories I have of her forever. Thank you, and rest in peace, Aunt Sherry.